Hey, welcome back to Fixing a Blind. Today we've got a light that we're looking at, okay? My name, Fixing It Blind, okay? Blind because I am going blind. Actually, I am night blind, so I can't see at all, hardly at night. I can see light sources, that's about it. So I rely heavily on flashlights. One of the flashlights that I use every day, I picked up this Nitecore, the HU60 light, okay? It's a headlamp. But unlike most headlamps that use like AA's, AAA's right here on the head, this actually uses a USB that goes down to a battery pack. Now this is what they sell you with it, and this is what they want you to use with it. And it works okay. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But first off, this is a floodlight and a distance light, so spotlight. So these four lights on the outside, those ones are your spotlights. The center one is a floodlight, and you can use a combination of the two to get your desired results. So when I'm working on an engine, I'll use the floodlight mostly, just because it gives you a wide, nice, even light, and we'll show you that here in a little bit as well. And then I use the spotlight if I got to look down into, let's say, a cylinder or a place that I need a little more light, but focus light, I'll use the spotlight. Now the headband here, they put these holes in it, supposed to help you stay a little cooler. I find that it really doesn't make that big of a difference. You also, because you have this rubber on the backside, that's to keep traction on your head so it doesn't slide up and down. Well, that rubber is not breathable, so it makes you sweat anyway. And this headlight head, after a couple hours of use, it gets pretty warm. I mean, it gets really warm. I wish they did something to achieve better cooling on it. That is one of the negative effects of it. So now this has, high, low, medium, and then it has turbo mode as well. Turbo mode I find is pretty well useless. It lasts for about a minute, 45 seconds, and then it overheats and it kicks down to high. And sometimes even it'll kick down to medium. And that's one of the biggest complaints that I have is it does not have enough cooling on the body here. I wish they would have, instead of trying to go for something so compact, for those of us that use these every day and for hours at a time, we want something that's going to stay cool and give us a nice light output the whole time and not slowly go dim on us. And that's what happens with this. Okay, and now I'm talking, you have it on turbo and it's a 1 minute time, and then it overheats and cool, and it's got a, use it for 1 minute on turbo, and then it has to go down to high or medium, just because it can't dissipate that heat. And that's by design. You don't really need turbo that much. Maybe if you're outside walking or something and you want to see something farther away, turbo comes in nice. But my only real complaint is, one, it does not dissipate enough heat. So this battery here, supposed to allow you to run for 5 hours on high. And it kind of does. It goes for 5 hours, but the flashlight itself does not stay on high. Okay, and I'm not talking about turbo mode. I'm just talking about your standard high mode. Okay, it'll kick down. After about 2 to 3 hours of being on continuously, it'll kick down to medium, and that bothers me because it's not supposed to do that. They say it's supposed to be able to be continuously used on high, and it doesn't. It kicks down to medium. And it doesn't seem to matter if I use just the floodlight, which is just the, it's just the floodlight, which is the center one, or the 4 spots. Now, I do notice that the temperature increases a lot quicker if I use the spotlights versus the single floodlight, okay, because we'll have 4 to 5 LEDs on, depending if I have a mix of flood or spot. Now, personally, this battery bank, okay, they require a USB output of 3 amps to be able to get this to use turbo mode, okay? Now, since you can only use turbo mode for 1 minute, I mean, whatever. I don't feel like this is worth $49.99 for a single battery. And what I use most of the time, because this cable is the perfect length to go from the back of your head, underneath your jacket, and into your back pocket. So what I use these pocket-sized ones, okay? They give me more run time. I haven't let it run from start to finish on this, but you know, I get well over 5 hours of use. I can go 8, 9 hours with this on high to medium, and still have two lights left on this. Okay. With this, I get 5 hours. I get almost right at the dot 5 hours. Downside is this uses micro USB, okay, to charge it. This is waterproof, which is nice, okay? Like this is submersible waterproof. Same with the light. So you can have this plugged in with the USB and have the light on underwater up to, I don't know how many feet. I think it's like 3 feet or maybe 10, maybe a meter, something like that. And it won't ruin the battery pack. Whereas this is not waterproof. You know, this one's it's just a cheap pack. So if you are going to use this in wet environments, okay, maybe the $50 for the battery is justifiable. One thing that is not of any value to me personally is it comes with, you can buy it with or without, and I thought I might use this, but it comes with this really janky remote. Okay, I mean, this thing is cheesy. It's made out of 100% Chinesium. It has got, you know, a terrible Velcro strap. It's not even a cloth, it's a plastic fiber strap. This plastic is so cheap and brittle, I can't imagine you actually using it. And what it does is you push it on and off, and then you can use it to dim and brighten. Okay, I don't know how, you know, you can reach your arm, but you can't reach your head to turn that on, because we got the power button up top, and we got focused to flood beam right there. Same thing the remote does. Okay. One thing that really does suck is if you have this plugged in to a USB, right? So if we plug this into the USB, it's constantly drawing because this has a Bluetooth sensor in it, or receiver, to be able to receive the signal from this remote. So if you, at the end of your shift, you're like, oh, I got a full battery, and you forget to unplug that, by the next day it's dead. And you're just kind of out of luck. The other thing that this one has that is a benefit is if you're doing, you know, some kind of work where you're moving a lot and aggressive and stuff gets bumped, you got this little thing you can put out, this little clip on the USB that clips over it and stops you from pulling it out. Okay. Personally, since this cord is not replaceable, I would rather have it just pull out and not damage the cord than pull out and possibly damage the cord. Okay, that's just me. I really like these flat packs that are like this, that have, you know, this has about twice the capacity of this. This is about 10,000 milliamps amp hours, and it plugs in. It still holds really good, you know, and that depends on the pack you use, but it holds really well. It sits flat in my pocket, and I mean, we're not exactly going for compact out of this unit. We're going for something that is going to allow us to complete a whole shift of work. You know, this is not, they do have other models that have a battery pack on them. Battery goes dead, you can replace the battery. You know, this is just for those of us who, we don't want the weight on our head, you know, the extra stress on our neck by having the batteries mounted on here. So we have a cord that goes down to a battery pack that we can just throw in our back pocket, front pocket, shirt pocket, whatever. And once you get used to it, it works really well. You know, this light is almost perfect. You know, get rid of the Bluetooth crap. We don't need that. Okay. Get rid of turbo mode. We don't need that. Okay. I mean, you can only use it for a minute to 45 seconds, or 45 seconds to a minute. And make it so the damn thing has enough cooling where when it's 80 degrees outside, I can have this thing on high the whole time, the whole shift, you know. You can see these cooling fins. They're just big chunky blocks of aluminum. Like, they're not even thin. They could easily, you know, machine out better fins on here that are finer to create more surface area to dissipate that heat. Okay. Now, the part that mounts to your head is plastic. Okay. That's plastic. So you got this aluminum bracket here that mounts to this plastic back piece that goes to your head. And you wouldn't think that plastic would transfer much heat to your forehead, but this thing does. It gets warm. It's not hot. The body gets hot, but on your forehead, you definitely feel the heat from it. Okay, won't burn you. It's not scalding hot, but it's warm. And when it's warm out, in the wintertime, sure, we can use that extra heat. In the summertime, though, that's going to be a downside for me. One nice thing they got here is to route the cord around the side of your head and not dangling. You've got these little tabs that are built on the straps, okay? And they are adjustable. You can slide them however you want. One thing that I would have liked to see is a way to be able to take these straps off. And let's say I didn't want this cord on the left side of my head. I wanted to go over top my head. It would be nice to have that option to be able to route it, run a little loop and then route it up over the top of my head. Or even maybe the other side. Maybe I'm working where I have to lay this side of my head on the ground. Well, then these things dig in. Such as working under cars, sometimes you gotta, you just put your head on the ground. This all digs into your head. Whereas it'd be nice to be able to say, hey, let's flip it over the top. Chances are pretty slim. Top of my head's not gonna be on the ground. But anyway, so let's go ahead and turn it on. You do a long press to turn it on. You can see right now, here we'll put it on straight flood. You can see how the floodlight gives you a very nice, even distribution of light, okay? It's really nice and even and smooth, okay? We also have, here, I'm gonna stop this. I gotta put a new battery in the camera. All right, got a fresh battery in here. All right, so basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you this here. First, we'll show you with this one here so we can get the turbo mode, okay? So long press again, turns it on. I got it into flood mode, okay? Short presses, that's turbo mode. So we got dim, okay? We got kind of a medium, then we got a medium high and a high, and then turbo, okay? Now turbo, like I said, it'll last about a minute and then it'll go down, okay? Then we're gonna go back down to low, but we're gonna put it all the way on spotlight, okay? So I don't know, can you see that? Kind of, yeah, a little bit. All right, and then we got medium, we got medium high, high, and this is a pretty standard one. You can use this for a couple hours. And then you got turbo mode, which is just insanely bright. I mean, it's really bright, okay? Nice thing is I use it on high a lot, okay? And I will use it in flood mode, and then I'll give her usually one click to the spotlight to give directly what I'm looking at, a little extra light, because I need quite a bit of light. I need more light than most people do. And that seems to work pretty well for me at arm's length. Now let's say I'm going outside and you hear some coyotes or something out there, and you got to take a look, make sure your goats and such are okay. You kick her over to the spotlight, give her that turbo mode, and you can see quite a ways. Now you combine this with a handheld light that will really give you the distance. It works wonderful. The only thing that I don't like is the fact that turbo mode is only 1 minute. Okay, so if you got some coyotes in your yard and you gotta dispatch them, you gotta do it quick, or else use your other lights. Now with a regular pack, okay, now this is only a 2 amp USB pack. You can buy 3 amps. You'll get the low, the medium high, and high, but you will not get turbo because there's just not enough amperage there. Honestly, most of the time, like I said, I don't use turbo mode unless I'm outside and I have to see something a little farther away. But in that case, you just use something like this. That's one of my kind of everyday carry. Now this light, you've got, they say 100 degrees of rotation. You can point it straight down if you want. You can point it straight out, slightly up. Typically you're going to use it somewhere in this range. And with the floodlight, it works really well. It kind of covers a big area, and it's a nice, smooth, even light. There's no hot spots when you have it on just flood. Now, if you need a little more light on a certain area, you just click it up a couple times to the spotlight, and she goes from there. Now, like I said before, you cannot leave this plugged into your USB power banks. Okay, if you do, it will be dead. It will be dead when next time you need it. Okay. Some other things here. Okay. It's kind of misleading on the box. 1600 lumens. Yeah, that's on spotlight, and for 1 minute. It's really like, 1,000 lumens on high, I think. And this one here for the floodlight says 1,200 lumens on turbo mode, but on high, it's probably, 800, 700, something like that. And realistically, at arm's length, 700 lumens is a lot. Like I said, I'm night blind, can't see a damn thing at night. And this makes it so I can work and continue to work on stuff in low light situations. So it works really well. Now, the distance wise, okay, this might be, in spotlight, it might go 162 meters. For someone with eyes that are normal, my eyes, I can't see that far out with a flashlight that's not super bright. It is impact resistance, 1 meter. Okay, 1 meter is just over, what, 3 feet, something like that. So that's, most of the time if you're dropping something, it's probably waist high, belly high, and that's what it's made for. It is waterproof, okay? It is waterproof to, I believe, something like, it's either 1 meter or 3 meters, something like that. Not super deep, but it is waterproof. And that is the USB power bank, okay, that they sell, okay, and the unit itself. Now, these in here, these USBs, they're not sealed off, whereas these ones in here are, okay? Now, these ones are completely watertight, so I can have it plugged in and still use the light and be out in the rain, out hiking, wherever. Now, if I got a raincoat on, well, then who cares about waterproof if I'm just using it out in the rain as far as the battery bank goes, because this is going to be inside my pocket connected. Okay, so my clothing is going to give it a protection, and also, rain jacket, umbrella, something like that is also going to protect it. So, I mean, unless you're really, really dealing with a lot of water, this might not be necessary for you. Now, the light itself is like $80. Don't waste your money and get the one with the remote. Okay, the remote's junk. Who cares? It's garbage. You're not going to use it unless you have a specific use for it. Don't buy it. It just costs you extra money. I thought I would use it. I don't use it. Whatever this is made out of irritates my skin. I got big wrists. It barely fits around. As far as their battery packs go, okay, they are high quality, okay? Don't get me wrong. They're good battery packs. If you need waterproof, get it. If you're concerned about pulling the cord out of the USB power bank, get it, because it's got this little T notch on here that allows you to use it, okay? Now, this is going to give you 5 hours. So if you have an 8-hour shift, you're going to need 2 of these, okay? There's no doubt about it. You're going to need 2 of them. Now, if you want longer runtime and you don't need turbo, go out and buy a cheap power bank. I think this one cost me like $15, made out of Chinesium. Works really well. I get about 10 hours out of this. That's estimated. I haven't actually run it start to finish and timed it. But I get a long time out of this. I get more than I do out of here, which, there's more battery in here. But you can also buy 3 amp power banks. They run a little bit more, but you could buy 10,000, 12,000 milliamp, on up battery pack that puts out 3 amps where you'll still be able to use the turbo mode. It just won't be waterproof. And then you won't have to worry about changing during your shift, changing battery packs or, oh crap, I ran out of light when I need it most, because that's when it always goes dead. It's right when you're in the middle of trying to get a screw into a hole or something that she dies on you. She don't die, during your lunch hour. You'll go on lunch and come back and start working for 10 minutes and get to the point where, oh yeah, this is important, and she dies on you. Can't see what you're doing. So that's why I definitely recommend buying external, or if you need the waterproof, buy a couple of these. So I bought it with 2 of these, okay, and the stupid remote. I paid more for the remote. I don't use it. I shouldn't have bought it. It was just a waste of money. The light itself, though, it's okay. It's good quality, okay. I like the waterproofness of it. I like the brightness of it most of the time. As it gets hotter, it will start dimming on you, okay? It kicks down to prevent damage to its lights. You know, they say it only kicks down from turbo mode, but that's not true. I use it on high, and after about 2 hours, it'll kick down off from high to like a medium high or even a medium, because it gets so hot. I would like to see, you know, better cooling fins on this light. I like that it's compact, but man, I would give anything for another, you know, 1/4 inch all the way around of just nothing but cooling fins. You know, maybe get rid of the buttons altogether and give you a reason to have the remote, and or you know, or whatever, something. I don't know, just something for better cooling. Nitecore, you know, if you guys end up seeing this, message me. You know, I've got some ideas for you. I rely on lights. You know, most people use lights because, hey, it's nice and convenient. I rely on them. I can't do my work without lights. My shop is actually lit up with, you know, a whole bunch of lights. Anyway, make sure you leave a comment. Okay, give me your ideas, your impressions. If there's any improvements that maybe, you know, maybe we can all get together and get something made that you know, I mean, this light's not cheap. It's not a cheap light. There's a lot cheaper ones out there, and I've used them, and they suck. This one doesn't suck, but it's not perfect. There could be improvements for what I need it for anyway. Might be perfect for you, might be perfect for someone else, but for me, it's not quite there yet. Anyway, make sure you leave me a comment. Let me know if you have this, or if you have another recommendation for a headlamp that is really well, that has a long battery life. Okay, I need 5 hours, I need 10 hours battery life. Okay, I need to be able to run a whole day working without changing the batteries, with it being on constantly. Okay, I don't need, you know, flashy strobe lights. I don't need that. No need for that. This is for work. I need it head mounted, so I have both hands free. And I mean, you know, this cord, you know, I could do it with a pack on the back of the head, or this cord. This cord actually works kind of nice, helps let your head breathe a little bit by getting the battery down in your pocket. But anyway, make sure you leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.